Let's take a look here at Jay-Z and Beyoncé. So first of all, as far as rotten ratings go, Jay-Z, he doesn't have birth time. It's the birth time that we have. If you go on astro.com, you can pull these two charts up. They've got a data bank with celebrities and whatnot. Just type in their search bar, Beyonce, and then type in Jay-Z, and you'll pull them both up. And you see their charts. Save the charts if you want to do this with me, okay? I actually saved his chart as just a no birth time chart, which just gives us Aries in the first house. Doesn't have any angles, doesn't have any houses. But at least it keeps the planets' placements by sign kind of pure. You know, I'm not being distracted by, well, this could be in this house. This is Sagittarius sun. It could be in the second house. It could be in the eighth. I'm not having to mess around with any. I'm removing and eliminating information that could be incorrect. And I'm sticking with what we know is right, as accurate as possible. The only thing with when we know birth time is the moon, of course, moves fast, like 13 degrees that the moon moves. 360 degrees in a circle, right? So that moon of yours in your birth chart, if your time is off, it can be anywhere 7.5 degrees or so. Or not 6.5 to 6.5 degrees in either direction. So point being, a lot of times when we have birth time, it's when we have a moon right on the cusp, right? Of course. He doesn't have birth time. We're not going to worry about it. His moon is in the sign of Libra. So without birth time, it's like a moon hypothetical chart. Well, it's not. I'm sorry. I misspoke. With this particular birth chart, when I put him in with an earlier birth time, he still is a Libra moon. Okay. In their relationship chart too, we've got some stuff right on the cusp, like their composite moon or something. One of the charts was right on the cusp. But just knowing enough about these two people, you can figure it out. Okay. So I'm throwing pencils today like crazy. Well, okay. Now, Jay-Z is a Sagittarius, Sun and Sagittarius. Your sun, I talked about the moon and Saturn, the mother and the father. Your sun is it's you. It's your life. It's the canvas we're going to paint on. It's just the fact that you have a name and an identity, personality. I am Nichole, your ego. And the word ego gets a bad rap. A lot of people don't understand what ego means. I think it means sort of someone like selfishness or something, or being egotistical, being full of yourself, inflated. No, your ego is just your sense of self. It's your sense of your identity. And it comes from the time you're a little kid. Once you were like, I know my name. I know how old I am. I'm 2 years old, 3 years old, whatever. And your sun sign is the day you were born during the year. It's special. It was your special day. Of that particular year, you were crowned by the sun, as a potentiate, I suppose. Birth as a child of divine parentage, not only your mom and dad, biological parents, but also this idea of the heavenly Father. This idea of if you're not religious or if you're not spiritual, if you don't believe in God, think of it as just consciousness, right? As well as you've got the human brain. Think of that as dad, and you have a body, a chthonic, earthy body that's still has vestigial organs and is still tied to the animal kingdom and all that good stuff, right? We're this weird hybrid. Humans are interesting. So when we look at him, he's got a sun in Sagittarius. We know we have a person who naturally probably has a quality of authenticity to the way that they operate. Sages lots of times have like the big picture. They want to inspire other people. They want to feel like what they're doing matters. There's a wide range of how that sort of expressions of that. A lot of times Sages are risk takers. Sometimes they're foolish. Sometimes they are too enthusiastic, or they jump into things way too without really being very measured. Okay, in general, the Sagittarius sign. I love Sagittarius. I cannot lie. It's like I like the butts and I cannot lie. I love Sagittarius. I cannot lie. They land in my 5th house. Usually 4th or 5th house, and I'm a moon in Aries, and I'm a Sagittarius in my deep chart. So I just get Sag. I love Sag. With that, though, sometimes can come for the Sagittarius. They can get disappointed. Like really excited about something. They're taking a big gamble or a big risk on this vision they've had, and sometimes things don't go the way they're hoping that they'll go. Or there can be issues with like ego inflation. Okay, that's anybody. With him, Sun for him, Sagittarius, Mercury is also in Sagittarius at 22 Sag, and they're like 10 degrees apart. Okay, Sagittarius. So Mercury and Sagittarius people tend to be the ones that are like trying to inspire other people. They enjoy teaching other people or being like, it's going to be okay, you got this. You know, trying to sort of cheerlead or lift or be positive. Or even if they're not, Mercury and Sagittarius aren't always positive. They are the ones that are like, it's going to be this way. A lot of times they'll, you know, they're the ones that will sort of be like, I've learned my lesson on this, and this is how it's going to go down. It's all going to come out in the wash, or it's all going to work out the way that it needs to. If you think about when I was talking about earlier, the sun rising, the ascendant, let's pretend like it's the equinox, 6 a.m. We have the sun right there peaking at the ascendant, or rising. Noon, it's up at the top of the chart, up in the 10th house on the MC. 6 o'clock, it's down on the descendant. So while it's falling, it's beginning its katabasis, which means it's beginning its path downwards down to the IC. Lunch is over. You get back after lunch. You're hanging out, chatting with your coworkers or wherever it is you're at between 12 and 2. And that time of day is like, the day is going to be done at 6, but you still have like 4 hours, right? Like, I can do this. I got this. The day's only half done. So there's this like, I can see that the clock, the hand on the clock is getting closer to 6 o'clock, but it's not there quite yet. Okay, so with Sagittarius, visions, dreams about how things should be, the truth, belief in a vision, and chasing after it. With then the moon of his, he's got moon in Libra. Now, this is why I love what I get to do. And I don't a lot of times read other astrologers' stuff because I just don't necessarily always agree with where they're coming from. And a lot of it's just regurgitated stuff anyway. But moon in Libra, I'm reading people saying, oh, they're peacemakers. They are, they like emotionally, they like things to be fair. That's very true. But I found that moon in Libra, they're a lot like what you would expect a moon in Aries to be like, okay? Moon in Aries people, that's my moon placement, tend to actually be highly sensitive emotionally. They feel things like a baby, right? Like a baby's hungry, cries, or sees a funny face and it laughs or smiles. That's Aries. Aries moon emotional type is very childlike, very kind of innocent even. And then we go through life and get battered around and beat up and hurt. People do things that are with siblings that it's not fair because they got a bike and we didn't. Okay. Then you get over to that archetype, the sign of Libra, the opposite sign of Aries. And then you have an emotional nature. You have a person who's learned that maybe life isn't always actually fair and that there's give and take and there's compromise. And fairness is really important to moon and Libras. Many times they're naturally, they like peace. They do like peace. But they also will fight for injustice. They fight against, if they feel like they're being treated wrong or maligned or a friend. Okay? And then they can turn it, then they're fighters. Okay? Their emotion, their moon, they're the mother, mama bear even. Interesting, right? Another thing I've noticed about moon in Libra, sometimes it's hard for them to see emotionally. It's like they're good at recognizing other people, where other people are at. It's harder for them sometimes to see how it is they're really feeling about something. It takes a little deeper reflection because they're used to working towards understanding this environment relative to other people. Okay, so many times moon in the 7th, emotionally, our emotions, we can feel like other people. It's like almost like not their fault, but like, wherever I'm at, other people in my world will tell you how I'm feeling. Moon in Libra, so relationships, collaborating, art, beauty, creating harmony, realizing in life, this music with Jay-Z, this song sounds amazing to me. How does it sound to you? It sounds like shit to me, And like, oh, it's so weird. It's so different from where I'm at, okay? Let's collaborate. Let's make this work where both of us get to kind of shine. But his moon's also conjunct Uranus. So his Uranus is at 8 degrees of Libra as well, which is Vendimatrix, which to me in a way is it's like the widow maker, fixed star. So it always has this quality of kind of a widow, You think of a widow. It's a woman who's like abandoned by fate. Basically, her husband dies on her, and she's just abandoned. So the matrix has this, like, there's a decision to be made. There's a quality here of you get to choose, yay or nay. Uranus, the desire and the need to individuate. That means grow up, become an adult, which means moving away from childhood stuff or owning it, doing your own healing, doing your own work, knowing yourself, which is a lifelong process. I don't think any of us, it's a journey that takes, I believe, life after life after life. You get to know this one ego, this one life, getting to a place that's bigger, more expansive, like that we're all just different faces of, God, different points of light. We're all in this together. So with his moon conjunct Uranus, though, need for when there are emotional situations, he's going to want harmony. He's going to want to understand, where the other person's coming from. But conjunct Uranus, he's also going to very much want his own freedom. Would also probably be really offended, if Beyonce accused him at all of cheating, back with Becky with the good hair, whatever her name was. If Beyonce sensed something with her moon in Scorpio, which I'm sure she did, she may have said something and he may have been like, what are you talking about? Flipped it on her, basically. And there would have probably been something with all of her, in many of the different charts I've looked at between the two of them, she's got a lot of markers that are Plutonian or Scorpio. It's fears that tie into her story that has to do with men, her father, what husbands do. Her dad cheated a bunch, and her mother stuck with him, I think, through a lot of it. And then her as a girl growing up and then individuating away from that story, but still that story is there. It's unconscious, though. It's like in you, and you have to rewrite it. So she marries a man who's another entertainer, perfect person to marry. If you want to marry someone who's going to be like a cheater, I probably would marry like a rap star or like a basketball player, like someone that's high profile, has lots of beautiful, like amazing women that the world says you should want throwing themselves at him. So he's got this really interesting sun in Sagittarius, moon in Libra. Both of these are like, there's a quality here of wanting to be a benefic force, a force for good in the world, wanting to do something with your life where you feel like there's meaning, this, I'm connecting with other people, it's all valiant. He's also got his Venus conjunct Neptune, which is idealistic, it's romantic even. His Venus, this is another one, it's either in Scorpio at the 29th degree or it's 0 degrees of Sag, which are very different from each other. And his Venus rules his moon. So I wish, if anyone out there knows Jay-Z's birth time, hook me up. Because the time that we have it's not right, I don't think at all. Okay, so Sun in Sag, moon in Libra. Now, this is Saturn. So we know he has a mother, sort of an interjection of what it means to be a woman, what home looks like, what's safe, what feels comfortable, that has to do with Libra. Maybe compromise, maybe things weren't fair, maybe I don't know anything about his childhood growing up, but like if he saw his mother as someone who was socially, someone who's adept, I suppose, socially, someone that was trying to make her marriage work and trying to compromise. What does his perception of his dad look like? And then that is Saturn retrograde. So he's got Saturn retrograde in Taurus at 2 of Taurus. What planet is right now in Taurus, which just moved into Taurus? Uranus. So Uranus, not to mention several other charts that we're not going to go over today, when they had the affair and everything, it's all the Capricorn. There's lots and lots and lots and lots of Capricorn between these two people from his perspective, okay? The husband, the father, the man, the one who made a commitment, who said, I choose you, I have made a decision. Marriage isn't easy for anybody. It comes down to you just decide. You're like, okay, well, I'm deciding to put myself on the line here, right? I'm deciding to trust myself that I'm going to be faithful to this person, okay? If he has, with Saturn retrograde in Taurus, a relationship to the father archetype that might have to do with the physical realm, like money, that which you can control. His chart actually feels pretty masculine, macho even. Somebody that he's the man, he wears the pants kind of thing, which is good because her chart, they work really well together, okay? But his Saturn's retrogrades, this tells us that in past incarnations, I believe, that he has had experiences with men or with father figures or with authority figures where he's perhaps been let down. He's seen patterns over and over and over again. And there may be a deep part of himself that's unsure of his ability to be a good man. Okay? And that maybe even that Saturnian experiences in life, which have to do with commitment, longevity, maturity, discipline, may have a certain, he may crave them and may long for security, like, having money in the bank, being successful in a way you can show materially. It's Taurus. But with this retrograde, he's going to come to a point in his life where he feels a certain sense of emptiness with all that, which is probably happening right now. And right now it's progressed moons in Leo. So I also think he's dealing right now feeling highly invisible with his relationship with Beyonce. I also think she's feeling super, like she's been home with her kids and it's been very simple family time, I suppose. Like, spending time doing Virgo-y stuff with her children and serving her family. But her moon moved into Aries just a few months ago, Virgo's moon. So she's going to want, it's in the 6th house. That starts to feel really Groundhog Day. And her health is also something she needs to really be paying attention to right now. She probably this last couple of months has been doing a lot of writing, like songwriting. She needs to be okay right now for this next year and a half, to just be where she's at. Just enjoy the days, keep things simple. Know that you're going to have a chance as soon as Progress Moon gets to the descendant, 20 degrees of Aries, opposite her Venus and her Pluto. She's going to release something. She's going to come into her own. So she's in the past. I'm sorry to digress, but for those of you who love Beyonce, I just think this is interesting. Her whole Sasha Fierce persona is very much her Venus-Pluto conjunct her ascendant in Libra. Venus in the 12th house, Pluto in the 1st house. That is knowing how, in a sense, something from a past incarnation, whether she was a performer, an entertainer in a past life, she may have even been the other woman. That's like, I've looked at her chart bunches of times. There's been times where I've seen her as a man even, but I think I would not be surprised if she's had marriages in past lives, maybe one with her dad, which I know sounds so weird, but where she was married to a flanderer, basically. Or love triangles where she was the other woman, could have been tied to race. Maybe she was black and her partner's white or something, or anyway. But she knows how to pretend or to play the role of Sasha Fierce, of the sexual, magnetic, confident, Mars up in the 10th, squaring her moon. Anyway, okay, so let me just back up here, coming back to Jay-Z. So we know we have someone who, and by the way, his Saturn, his sort of fears that have to do with his inadequacies in the department of manliness, okay? Not being good enough, maybe not being even like handsome enough, rich enough, in control enough, feeling weak, feeling as though things are just slipping out of control. You're not the creator of your world, okay? Him getting married is really important because when you get married to someone, you have decided, you're not just a single point, you've decided, I'd like to be part of a unit, with another person. So then you have this triangulation that happens. It's really cool. You have your two psyches that are doing their little thing, growing and progressing. Then you have a relationship, too, where these two psyches come together and these different parts of each person come together and teach each other in ways you cannot do alone. The crucible of marriage is the only place where you can do the growth, the type of growth that you do in marital relations, because you have to give up a part of your autonomy in a sense. You can't just go out and get naked with whomever. You can't just go out and have a family with, you've decided this is what I've decided and I have made a decision and I'm going to stick with it and I'm going to own it. Buck stops here, okay? Consequences, I take responsibility for them. With his Saturn and Taurus, he's been comfortable probably doing that when it has to do with money, finances, stuff he can control. Other people, on the other hand, like a moon in Scorpio, opposite sign, his wife, who has her own emotional stuff and puts demands on him, as we do in relationships, is the thing that's going to help him step into his own manlyhood, his maturation, and being a dad and all that good stuff. Okay, so with his this kind of mother-child-father triangle, we have it sort of clearly delineated. Now let's talk about his Mars and his Venus. Mars in Aquarius, Venus in either the end of Scorpio or the beginning of Sag. Okay, when we put him at a noon time, I think it puts him at like zero of Sag. Okay, so oh, that should remind me of something. This upcoming full moon we're about to have in July, it's a doozy. In the deep chart, which it's a technique that I use that I haven't revealed yet, but in the deep chart we have a 0 degree Sagittarius full moon, and that to me it's right on his Venus. It's the moon itself, so that means it's going to be lit up. So something about maybe there's something creative that he's been working on. It's progressive moon being in Leo. If he's not being creative right now, he's going to sublimate his frustration. Like resentments will come out in his home life. They'll be fighting and bickering, and he maybe is trying to make things exciting and fun for his wife, and he may be also trying to work on his own career, and he maybe has said some yeses to her about collaborating that really he's not really wanting to do. Mars in Aquarius, he needs to feel like he can do his own thing, because he's going to zig and he's going to zag. He's an innovator. He's a creator. He's a visionary. He's a Sag too. So this is a person who needs to be free to go out and do things without having to ask permission, without having to feel like he's being watched, etc. At the same time as Venus being either, into Scorpio being a Sag, has a quality of being tied to other people, like by that I mean Venus when it's in Scorpio at the end, the last degree of Scorpio, the anaretic degree, it's like we value, we in our relationships, we want like all or nothing, basically. This is why I kind of feel like his Venus is zero of Sag. I feel like he's a bit more saggy. Maybe it's just because he's Sagittarius. But anyway, with his Venus placement in either position, he's going to take his relationships with other people seriously. With the Venus conjunct Neptune, there's some issues here, though, with women. And there may be issues with, like, prostitutes. I don't know if he's ever, like, visited prostitutes. There's some things in their charts, or having sex with strangers, or, like, sex that's not within the bounds of marriage. And the times when he might act out are going to be the times when Beyonce's being triggered personally with her Scorpio moon, and she's like a Taurus in her draconic chart, so gets insecure and gets worried, and then loses sense of her own, like, sense of who she is and her value and her worth and her like intrinsic value with or without a man. The fact that he cheated on her too, she's like the most beautiful woman in the world, and he cheats on her with just some average white girl, like that. It couldn't have been scripted. It couldn't have been better. He took away from her Sasha Fierce, and he left her as a gift with herself. Okay, he left her with her anger. He left her facing the fact she's got Sun and Virgo in the 11th house. It's like your identity doesn't belong to you. It's like it belongs out there. A lot of times, Sun in the 11th people don't fully, like, they don't always know themselves, or if they do, their real self. It's like they have their self that other people see, and then who they really are. Okay, so when he took away the Venus stuff, when he cheated on her, it's kind of like she's left with the girl that was just trying to take care of him and love him and be good to him and served him and has had babies for, and all that stuff. And so there's a quality here. You can feel like a victim really fast. You can feel like, I'm doing all this for you. Blah, blah, blah. You can get a little resentful. Virgo's naturally more of an anxious sign too. And having Moon in Scorpio, it's obsessive. So she's going to be obsessive. She feels something. She's probably right. Because, as I said, I think she either was the other lady in a past life or was a wife married to someone who's a cheater. And she just, like, knows it. Her soul knows it. It's like, okay, I recognize these patterns. So she has to learn how to have discipline, how to discipline her emotions, right? How to be mature and not just freak out and take a baseball bat to someone's car or whatever, right? Or do, I don't know. If you're going to take a baseball bat to someone's car, though, then owning it and being like, I just beat your car up, and dealing with the consequences, let them, whatever they may be. That's being mature. So, okay, so when we look at his Mars in Aquarius, that natural tendency to be, it's like you're syncopated, you're idiosyncratic, you're like a lightning bolt. Exciting to watch a lightning storm. You have no idea where that lightning's going to hit, right? That's Mars in Aquarius. And there can be a quality of people who are Mars in Aquarius of detaching themselves from their behavior, right? Like, I did this thing. I don't know why I did, but I just went and did it. Or, I had sex with Mars in Aquarius. Sometimes we need to just detach from sexuality a little bit. There's a very cerebral quality to Mars, of course. But again, this is an instinctive Mars. You don't think with Mars. It's just how a person does things. And so the way it kind of comes out is it can be sexually, kind of being able to have sex with anybody, or even be homosexuality or prostitution or sex with strangers, that kind of thing, sex with friends. At the same time, Venus being either in Scorpio, which is highly, it's very much about either hiding our secrets or loving intensely and loving the taboo, loving commitment, and with it conjunct Neptune, really wanting to do right. If it's a Venus in Sagittarius, there's going to be a quality here of I have these ethics or these beliefs about who it is that I am or how I'm supposed to treat people, and this behavior wasn't okay. That's why I think he's Venus in Sagittarius. So him beating himself up. Okay, his Venus, you'll notice, forms and in conjunction to Saturn. His fears about being a man. So in conjunction, it's like having a broken bone. It's in a cast. Right? In this case, Saturn's the slower planet. Venus is quicker. So this is a relationship with Scorpio, this aspect. I'm not going to explain this right now. But that means there's a purging. We need to experience something that's going to perhaps have to do with betrayal, sexuality, power, money, like big money. How do we abuse power? How do we abuse other people? How do we use people? Do we hide things? In conjunct to Saturn retrograde, which is being sort of woken up right now by Uranus. What is it that you think real love is? Like crazy, what's the song? Crazy in Love, Drunk in Love, those songs, that they're famous for doing that crazy, Drunk in Love one, I guess, right? But that's not real love at all. It's actually was written, I believe, when Beyonce's Progress Moon was in Pisces. It's like fantasy. Remember the video that they made that was Partition? It's kind of around that same time. Anyway, it's like, it's the fantasy, the dream, but it's not necessarily the reality. And so, as her Progress Moon got to the end of Pisces, that's when I think on her concert, I think it was last year, they posted a video where they got married again, renewed their vows, which I think is great. Okay, so let's talk now about, with this guy, we know we have someone who has certain values and ethics and things he believes, and he wants to live a life of meaning and wants to live a life where he feels like he's being a good person, right? And he's also a very strong individual, one who is probably when he wants something, if he has a goal in mind, he doesn't waver from it, or if he's going to waver when he's married, it's going to be because he's got a moon in Libra. He's going to want to keep the peace with his wife, okay? Where is that going to cause a person problem? Or could this be an issue for him? And, well, maybe it's when he's feeling as though he's no longer being a creative person himself, and he's losing himself in the relationship. I kind of feel like that's what it's felt like lately. They need to still have their own separate careers, and I feel like they've been merging and kind of mushing together. And with his Progress Moon in Leo, that's just not gonna fly. So right now, look at his hair. His hair's like long right now, at least last time I saw a picture of him. He's trying to express parts of himself that in the past he's kept. Maybe he's trying to be tough, or had short hair. A lot of times when men grow their hair out, they're moving into their softer Venus. They're moving into their feminine side. Right? So, okay. Now, Beyonce. Let me drink some water here. So Beyonce, where'd she go? This will give you time to pull up her chart if you don't already have it up. Again, get it on astro.com. So she's got a sun in Virgo, 11 degree Virgo. It's almost 12. In the 11th house. Moon for her, Scorpio. In the second. I use Porphyry house system. It's right on the cusp of the first and the second house, which I think is perfect. The perception of her mom as being someone who's strong, who has battled through things, someone who has probably been a stalwart in her life, or someone that she sees as, someone who's very important to her, and probably her early childhood. I don't know if she's the oldest, I assume. I know she's Solange, but I don't know all of the family dynamics. But when she was little, her mom probably was able to take good care of her, like of her physical needs, stay-at-home mom. kind of consistent childhood, I'm guessing, when she was little. But then it's also Moon in Scorpio. So she probably also experienced seeing her mother cry, seeing her mother be betrayed by her father, seeing her mother choose to stay or to leave. And so from a very young age, she became very aware of her environment. And as a little Virgo, with a sun in the 11th, it's like the inner child has a bit of a trauma. The identity, I am Beyoncé, okay? The fact that she uses that name Sasha Fierce, it's not even her real name, right? It's not her son, her name, the day she was born. It's something made up. It's her 12th house. That's all the stuff in the 12th house. That's her Sasha Fierce persona. It's pretending. It's a little girl inside pretending to be this woman, this idealized archetype. And she's sexual, she's beautiful, she's magnetic. Every man wants her. She's powerful. Powerful. With the moon in Scorpio, she learned from her mother as well, whether it was directly or indirectly, that women's beauty, their sexuality, their ability to pull a man in, a woman's power in their relationships, something that a woman had control over, right? Ruler of her moon is her Pluto conjunct her sun. So that to me says, I've learned instinctively even. Remember, first house, rising sign, there could be past life, memory, trauma, whatever you want to call it, experiences where your sexuality, your body, if you were like, let's just use African American in the past, like in love with a white man or something, right? Like your actual body that you were born into, you didn't have control over, had control over your fate and your destiny. You couldn't be with the man you wanted to be with or something, So maybe you had to learn how to work with what you had and be resourceful, and you learned how to be sexy. Okay. So this also says she learned from her mother's wounds and pain that she herself is like, I don't want to do that. I'm not dealing with that. I ain't going to do that. She's got Mars up in the 10th house in Leo. Mars in Leo, how she naturally does things. That's the showmanship. That's the ham. It's the part of her that's going to be like, here I am, performing. I have a Leo rising. It's really similar. It's just kind of, you can't, Leo rising people, Mars and Leo, they tend to be competitive, not on purpose. It's not like they're trying to compete with others. It's just like, oh, I'm here. I want to do my thing. I want, if you're competitive, you play sports. I just got all the trophies in that one Beauty Hurts video? That's totally Mars and Leo. I've dated several different men, like of my long-term boyfriends, like 3 of them or something are Mars and Leo, and they all were athletic. They're all athletes of some kind, and we're all placed a lot of their identity. I am Sun, Leo. Their identity was tied into their physicality, their athletic ability, their prowess, their natural athletic gift as well, and the attention it would get them. And with women, all 3 of those guys, competitive in their dating life. They had to be the best, the king, the one who won the whatever girl. So you have that for her, Beyonce. She's got this too, this Mars and Leo. She's got, there's dignity there. Like, how dare you? How dare you? I'm the queen. Like, what? Who are you? And that's the indignation that came out with the baseball bat. But really, it's Mars in the 10th. It also says it could be anger she has towards her dad. Mars is conjunct the North Node, which means in a past incarnation, it was opposite. Her situation in a past life, South Node, that's right. Her nodes, by the way, I use true and mean. They're right on the cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius. So remember, the nodes move backwards. They move retrograde. But past life, incarnational material that had to do with being a woman, family, home. Where do I belong? What does society say about all of that? What are the rules? Okay. With Mars opposite up in Leo, it kind of would suggest either she was separated from. It's like you're separated from the thing that you're wanting. It's at the other side when it's the nodes in that life. Mars could be your ability to do the things you want to do out in the world. Maybe she was really ambitious and was a wife in a past life. Maybe she was even in her own family. In fact, I want to look at her genealogy, but she could have been a stay-at-home mother and her husband was cheating on her and she may have been really pissed off but felt stuck. She may have felt like she had to stay. or she may have even experienced in past incarnations having been a slave with Pluto in the first two at 22 degrees of Libra. Her chart's pretty intense. So, point is, Sun in Virgo, we're going to be naturally comfortable with recognizing that we're not perfect. Like Virgos, their anxiety many times comes from just a sense of feeling inadequate, like feeling like I'm broken or I'm imperfect or I'm messy or I need to be more, I got to put all my pieces and my parts back together. And this nagging sense of it not being whole or not being perfect, because it never will be, because it doesn't exist, right? That's the whole lesson of Virgo. It's to move to Pisces, to forgive oneself, to let go of actually thinking that you're ever going to be perfect while you're here in this one, in this single ego, this single life. Okay. So as a Virgo, in the 11th house, though, what happens here is like 11th house Aquarius, Sun in the 11th, there is a quality of whatever's in the 11th house, that fourth quadrant, 10th, 11th, 12th houses, the archetypes of Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. We're moving away from Aries, birth of something, the seed, the very personal, and it's like, you're alive, okay? We're moving all the way around to the collective. Like, what does it mean to be you relative to other human beings? Leo, 5th house, Sun, your son, you, the child, inner child, versus opposite, 11th house, Aquarius, that's other people, strangers, humans, friends, just them. There's me and there's them, okay? Aquarius, the archetype is one it's funny, it's a personality type, it's fixed, right? Traditionally ruled by Saturn. I use Uranus as the ruler. It is a sign, not a planet, it's an archetype, that 11th archetype, that wants to individuate. And in order to go through the process of individuating, moving away from the identity you had that were given to you kind of by your childhood into developing as a whole integrated human, adult, you have to many times go through unconscious behavior. You got to do things in your life where you create chaos or other people create chaos or things happen in your world that, that kind of thing happens to those people, not to me, So with Aquarius, there can come a quality of detaching oneself from, in this case, her sun, her identity, her life. It's like it belongs to the people. And if you notice, her sun at 11 degrees of Virgo is highly unaspected in her chart. There's a video of her where it's after she had her baby, but before the affair, where she's like kind of healing from pregnancy and all that, and still losing weight, no makeup on. She's, of course, just beautiful. And I think she's beautiful, like outside and inside, both. And it's because she's, I think, been through some really painful things in her life. And she's a strong person. She's, Sun in Virgo, though, who she really is, her real true identity, has not Beyoncé. It's not fully been seen yet. We haven't even seen the best of what she's got to show us, which I'm very excited for, 2021, 2022, 2021, yeah. Stuff's going to be going down. So, okay. Sun in Virgo, naturally kind of a little more anxious, feeling like that Sasha thing, whatever, that's like this. It's not me. It's pretend. I'm just I think of her with no makeup on, just pure and the little girl. I know how to do this thing, Mars and, the 10th. I know how to be sexy. I know how to get men turned on or whatever. I know how to use my sex appeal. But it also tells us with Venus in the 12th, in Libra, she knows how to please other people. So what about pleasing yourself? What is it that Beyoncé really loves? What does she like to do with her time? As a mom, when you're a mom, especially with little kids, so much of your time is going towards taking care, you're being selfless, taking care of other people. And if you're a stay-at-home mom, you have a lot of time to yourself. You have a lot of time to kind of go, to be bored or to play around with hobbies, to really decide for yourself, what do I really like to do? Especially as your kids get bigger, you're playing Play-Doh with them. This is really fun. I didn't know I'd love to play with Play-Doh. Or, so her children, actually, they're bringing Leo experiences in here to help heal her Sun in Virgo. I wonder if she's like the other woman in a past life, and there was a man that had children, was married to someone, had children, but she didn't have children, or she had, I don't know. Anyway, I just feel like she really needs to enjoy this time right now with her kids while they're little. I think with her progressive moon being in the 6th house for her right now, it's with it in Aries, it's going to be hard because she's going to be wanting to do her own thing. She's going to be wanting to be doing something creative, or she's fighting for something. She's going to feel agitated and irritated, restless, all that stuff. Hopefully she can use it in a creative way instead of in a way where she's, causing fights. Okay, because no one can get her Venus. No one can figure out for her the story she has. This is her Mercury in Libra, conjunct Saturn. The story she has about marriage, about compromise, about what's fair, about men and women, relating to other people, about what I like, what I really and truly enjoy. What's beautiful, what's love, what does that really mean to understand another person? What about me, too? Big. That's big stuff she's got to be working on. With Uranus in conjunct all of her Libra, the early Libra stuff anyway. Moving through 7th and 8th houses, it will be through her relationship, through her marriage. Needing to let him go do his thing. I have a sense that Beyonce actually has a certain, at the end of the day, when you take off all the makeup, that she's actually really insecure about her own real true identity. She's super comfortable doing Beyonce, Sasha Fierce, whatever, but when it comes to who she really, her real value and worth, and more importantly, what is it to you, Beyonce, that's beautiful to hear, to sing, to taste, the senses. So I think this whole experience with her husband has been probably hugely educational. It's Uranian experiences always are here to help us evolve in our conscious understanding of the world around us by shaking things up, by causing disruption and chaos many times. And then we have to decide, what was my role in this thing that just happened? How can I grow? How can I move deeper and deeper into awareness and into love? I read something great yesterday, maybe it was today. It said you don't how do they say it? You don't elevate, you don't raise your consciousness, you deepen it, right? The understanding, consciousness, just mental understanding of the mysteries, and no one else can do that for you. And there's it's not like raise your vibration, I don't know what that means, but there's a quality here. You got to go inside yourself, and no one else can do it for you. It's like I can't eat your food for you, right? You break a bone, I can sit with you, I can't make your bone heal. You have to do that yourself. It's part of what you're here for. Having her sun in the 11th and in Virgo, there can be an element here of the victim-y thing, that it's your fault, blaming the other person. Hopefully with this reflection she's been able to have since everything happened. The ruler, I use Chiron as the ruler of Virgo. So Chiron in Taurus, which is an important planet in her chart, 22 retrograde Taurus. Kill or be killed degree, that's a very significant degree. She also has Pluto and Neptune at 22 degrees. First house, third house, Chiron. So first house, Pluto in the first. How it is she does things naturally without even thinking about it, okay? Pluto, protective. That's many times I gotta protect myself, or waiting for the other shoe to drop kind of thing. There's intensity there. There's focus, obsession even. We want something, we don't let go until we're kind of there. With Neptune in the third, which can tie into, now this can be very creative. It can be wonderful for songwriting, the lyrical side, the story, the meaning behind the experience, okay? It's also her relationship to victimhood, right? Feeling helpless, hopeless. Neptune in the third. Well, it takes two to tango, Her and her husband, they got married. Obviously, they love each other very much. Relationships, marriages are never perfect. They're hard. We'll make mistakes. So the question is, what was it that I was supposed to learn from this mistake, right? What was it in her behavior with Jay-Z? Was she being too controlling? Was she wanting to, subsume his identity in a way? And I think that's kind of what she's been doing with him lately. And I think she needs to ease up a little on, everything is the two of them together. Their family, and separate work and your personal world. It's she feels to me as though she needs the world to know that he's her man, which we all know. We're very well aware of it. Okay, he's your man. You have a family with him, maybe in a different life. You didn't get to do that. You get to have that this time now. Okay, cool, awesome. Now it's time to let him go do some stuff he needs to go do. Trust him again and let him go. She herself also needs to let go so she can be focusing on her instead of focusing so much on maybe in the past, perhaps, like what Jay-Z, what he's up to, right? What is it you love to do? If you have an emptiness about your sense of self, your identity, or what it is you like and you enjoy, then you're like, well, what do they want? What do they like? What do they enjoy? And you're going to be, always constantly catering to this other person the whole time, not really knowing who you are. And then when things go bad and you're pulling from your partner, needing them because you're anxious, because you put so much of your identity, your value on how this other person, on the role you play for them as wife or girlfriend or whatever. And it's like, if that person's not there, then what? What's your value? What's your worth? What's your, all that. So with her Venus being in Libra, and it's conjunct her ascendant, she knows how to be sweet. I feel like I want to be friends with her. I love Beyonce. And, a lot of times celebrities, especially that are so on stage, they're flashy and confident and cocky even, but it comes from this place of she's like every woman. She gets up there and she's like singing for all of us, right? It's like the little girl pretending on stage, just like all of us used to maybe pretend to do. Singing love songs or singing jealous, angry songs, or that's Venus to me. That's Venus in the 12th. There's an element here with Venus in the 12th people. A lot of times, I dated a guy, Venus and Sag in the 12th, one of my favorite people. But he's very handsome, but a projection vessel for a lot of people. They see him and they assume that he's a certain way. And he even behaves. He's very socially, he's good with people. And Beyonce, I think, is too. She's kind, she's sweet, she's smiley, warm, friendly. That's Libra. She knows how to behave socially. With that, though, sometimes can come, I know how to behave because I know what you will like, how you will feel pleased, or how this will make you feel. And sometimes the harder work is figuring out, I don't really want to do this anymore. This doesn't work for me. So I think Uranus, as Uranus forms a trine to her sun, that's when she'll be really getting clearer about herself. Okay, so with her Venus in Libra, we know she likes to please. We have a partner whose Mars is in Aquarius, so she's going to be in the make a nice trine, plus her Pluto, trine is Mars. She's going to be kind of like, baby, I get you. I get where you're coming from. I also value, I care about your happiness. I care about this relationship, so she's going to be flexible and want to work with him for sure. But with it in the 12th house, there's this element here of almost it's like, because this is what a girlfriend or a wife is supposed to do, kind of, like I'm supposed to play this role for you, and you're supposed to play this role, and what have you. But maybe it's not even what it's not real. And then we have this is real love, that she posted on their most recent, I guess, end of her tour. So figuring out for herself the girl inside of her, not just the part of her that wants to sort of be the vessel for all the rest of us, or be the example for other women, but she needs to get to a much more personal place, I think, where it's finding a balance between what it is she does for work. North Node's in the 10th house, right? But it's on Cancer and Leo, which to me is like the self, Leo, the ego, right? What do I want to do? And Cancer, which of course is the mother's family. It's very personal though. Being true to yourself versus being true to maybe this one dimension of your ego, just a part of who you are. Okay, so with her Venus in Libra, with her Mars in Leo, and with her Saturn, her Sun, Moon, Saturn, kind of combo, we get a feel for her. The child, Sun in Virgo in the 11th. I have a daughter who's a Sun in Libra in the 11th, and she's a Moon Scorpio as well in the 12th. She was little when when her dad and myself got divorced, and so she didn't really understand what was going on, I suppose, and just there was a lot of stuff material that she just wasn't ready to understand. And she's a Libra, so there's also a quality of being a pleaser and being sweet and just wanting everybody to be happy. And Beyonce probably experienced something really similar. Moon in the 2nd, her and her mother, I'm imagining, are really close to each other. And then her mother's probably like her rock. And at the same time, and it's like her mother's been through, Scorpio's been through shit, been through stuff, death and rebirth, and has taught Beyoncé, Pluto in the first, conjunct ascendant, in a sense, like how to be powerful, how to arm herself against the pain that she maybe experienced. At the same time, Moon conjunct Uranus. Beyonce's job in this incarnation is not about keeping, in a sense, it's like when you grow up with adults who are experiencing stuff that you're not ready for, it's like secrets, even if what you experienced wasn't a secret, but it's just the intensity, you just don't know what to do with it, and you learn emotionally to keep your emotions kind of hidden, but that can bubble and boil and become really obsessed or even compulsive. You really just be working on something, and other people may not even know. And with her Moon conjunct Uranus, there might be a big part of her that feels like her mom should have done. Maybe her mom wanted to be a singer or a performer. That might be why Beyonce took that path. I don't know the whole story. She needs to liberate and free herself, though, from her family story of betrayal, of wounding, getting to the core of it, to the heart of it. Because again, she may have been the other woman in a past life. She may have been the other woman to her own mom. Oh, who knows, right? The universe is really cool and crazy and teaches us through all these weird, convoluted methods. So I think not to get off on a tangent here. I know I'm totally off on a tangent today. Sorry, but it's like we need all this background. Okay, I think for Beyonce, her big goal in her life, North Node Cancer Leo, it's the mother-child archetype. It's something with the mother, the child, and the father in the 10th house, with expectations our family puts on us, and with going after something, Mars and Leo, going after something you're wanting and feeling driven by a desire to succeed. Perhaps in order to feel like dad sees me. Mother, child, and father, that's a triangle. It's our first love triangle. And if a dad that cheats, then it's like now you have mother is being betrayed by dad, but there's a quality here of being daddy's girl, and there's a quality here of competing with the mother even. That's weird, but not competing with mom, but in a sense, you're supposed to learn how to be a woman through mom, and dad's supposed to teach you about how to love a woman. So Beyonce marries a rapper, Jay-Z marries a guy, I don't know anything about his background, but if you're gonna find a guy, you want a guy that's not gonna cheat on you, marry an accountant, right? Not a famous, confident, charismatic rap star. Or do marry that person, because it's actually probably the perfect medicine. Because for him, he is here to learn about, he's got a Virgo Pisces axis for him. So a lot of times it's forgiveness. Feels very karmic to me too. I think people who have the Virgo, we really made there's a big slip up in a past life. Maybe something that there's forgiveness that needs to happen in this life. And it's coming back together, perhaps with the same players, same cast of characters in similar circumstances. And our soul, it's like we remember, oh yeah, I need to do this again. I need to fix this. But I still have the same compulsions, the same drives I had in the past. But this time I need to get to a deeper level of love. Now, Beyonce's a Virgo, right? And if you were to look at, I have his chart right here. He's got his South Node, 16 and 17 of Virgo. The other thought, just now thinking of this, is what if Jay-Z in a past life actually was Beyonce's dad? Her sun is at 11 of Virgo, so it's right next to his South Node. And sun does represent, it can be a person or a child in the past life. This person could have been your child. Maybe she was a love child. Maybe, I've thought this before, her parents were different races. She may have been a love child. She may have been, he may have abandoned her, or he may have, I don't know. I have no idea. I wish I had birth time for him again. If you find it, let me know. But point is, her sun is at 11 degrees of Virgo. His sun is at 11, 12 degrees of Sag. They square each other. The child, the inner child, what I want to do with my life, what you want to do with your life. In a past incarnation, they were at odds with one another. And perhaps sun in Virgo down to that to me is Capricorn. He was the dad, he was the man, he was the authority figure, and she was the female submissive. She was the servant to the master, okay, kind of a thing. So he was the one who like made the wrong choice, basically. And to me, I'm wondering now she's faced with, if let's say she was the other woman, or if she was being cheated on, or whatever it was, in this life, she has to own. She has to learn about owning the decisions she's made, the man she's chosen to marry, okay? But she's chosen someone, 10th house, north end of the 10th. She's chosen a man that's the perfect, like just like her dad, an entertainer, or whatever, in that business, and likes the ladies. So, you know, forgiveness and learning about what love really is and all that good jazz, and that your romantic partners, romance is fun, it's great. Romance is so Leo. It's in 5th house stuff. It's little kid. It's ego. It's me. It's I. I'm important because you give me attention. I'm validated because you spend all this time doing whatever it is that I'm wanting you to do. Recognize that I'm special, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not really what love is at all. Love is like, true love is like a person who gets up every night or goes outside every night at the same time at 9 o'clock to watch the stars slowly move through the sky, right? And they do this as a labor of love, and it's a slowly unfolding process. When you meet someone, you're attracted to them. That to me is lots of things. It's chemistry, physically, but it's also maybe moon stuff. Emotionally, you recognize in an unconscious way, this person is everything I need right now in my life to grow and to like do the thing I came here to do, which is usually to get torn apart first so that you can rebuild better than before. Okay, so I think with these two, let's look at there now. I'm going to stop right here. Now that we're at like an hour of me just talking about the two of these people, since I'm yammering anyway, let's just really quickly take a little quick peek at their Davison chart together, the relationship chart, which is 20 degrees of 20 degrees. October 20th, 1975 is the date. So they've got Sun in Libra, end of Libra. It's the relationship, is a relationship that has to do with learning how to relate to one another. It's love and romance in a sense. Venus is in Virgo, the ruler. So it's at 11 of Virgo. Whose sun is at 11 of Virgo? Beyoncé. If we were to personify Venus in a family, okay, let's say if the planets are all characters in a family, Saturn would be dad, Moon would be mom, Venus would be the daughter. Okay, Venus and Virgo, the daughter. Squaring his Sagittarius sun. So his ego, his desire, his belief that he's a man, he can do what he wants to do, kind of a thing, you know. There's a part of him that thinks that. His Saturn in Taurus, retrograde, 2 of Taurus, trust me. There's a big part of him that's like, ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do. I'm gonna do what I want to do, right? Moon conjunct Uranus, Mars in Aquarius. Trust me, if you try to make him do what he doesn't want to do, he's gonna go do it 10 times worse than he would have if you just were ignoring it. So anyway, they're perfect for each other. I mean, they come together. You got Sun on one end in Libra in the relationship chart. Moon is over here. It's either, I hate this, it's either the end of Aries or it's at the very beginning of Taurus. Either way, when Uranus was moving through Aries, it ran over all of it. It's their home life, their domestic life, it's craziness. And there are some markers in other charts for him where Moon's conjunct Uranus, or it's, I think the Sun's in Aquarius on one of the charts. Him seeing the relationship as an area of, it's really exciting and electric and, like, oh my gosh, things to that relationship that he doesn't have control over. And the biggest thing would be all the Scorpio in Beyonce's chart. Her wounding, her pain, her unconscious reactions when she's jealous, when she tries to control him, when she does things where she's trying to, it's the little girl inside of her who's trying to just get her dad's attention. It's the little girl who's saying, recognize me, validate me that I'm here, don't ignore me, etc. See me, though. And what's not going to work right now is that she's trying to do it, they're doing it through kind of work and business. That ain't going to work. And that's why I think things have been quiet for them lately. With Uranus trining, totally different chart. I'm going to look at it right now. We've got lots of Capricorns. So lots of Capricorn markers, lots of Libra, lots of Aries. Their first marriage was on like the 15th. We had Aries at 15. Their wedding, right? That's cardinal as Didn't get married on a great day. I'll just leave it at that. Should have consulted with an astrologer. I would have hooked him up with a way better date. But with their relationship, Sun and Libra, ruled by the Venus and Virgo, which is this relationship's about serving, it's about healing, it's about making whole. In particular, like Beyonce, okay? By challenging the maturity, the integrity, the father inside of Jay-Z. Pretty cool, right? Like, it's pretty freaking awesome. Again, I wish I had his time. In this relationship chart, we have the moon is, whether you want to say it's Aries or it's Taurus, it has this quality of feeling like the woman in the relationship is learning about home, feeling safe, feeling like she can let down. Chiron conjunct moon, Jupiter's in there as well, over here on this end. And that to me feels very much like the emotional climate between these two people. They need to have freedom to do their own things, to like be doing their thing. And Jupiter's in Aries here too. The relationship has a certain ethic or like a morality to it that has to do with battling, going out and fighting for something, or creating, being independent, being fierce, like being audacious, saying, I want to go try this, I'm going to go try it. It's also very passionate. Aries is tied to our instincts, right? It's the animal body, it's lust, it's chemistry. So I think Jupiter in Aries retrograde at 18. The truth, the things, the lessons you get to learn about when being independent and tough and fierce, or when doing your own thing too much is a problem. Yeah. Also, fighting. What is worth fighting for in your relationship? This relationship they need to have independent projects. Really important. Jupiter in Aries, and because it's retrograde, it's like a lesson where you do it the wrong way first, and then you learn together, hopefully, how to support each other, but also to have your own things. So this Jupiter, conjunct Chiron, which is the wound. It's where you're going to have some achiness, hurts, repair work to be done. It's like a hole. It's in the blanket. You got to stitch it up, and it's next to the moon and home, the mother, the family, protecting the family too. If it's in Taurus, moon in Taurus, that would tie into Beyonce's draconic chart, which is Taurus sun, which is she needs to feel safe. She just wants to feel safe. She wants a simple life with her husband. Like, truly. She's not like a complicated, I don't think, woman. I think she wants to know her man is her partner that she can rely on and trust, and that she is his woman, and that he has chosen her out of all of the other women. But here's the thing. That attitude towards relationships comes from a childhood. It comes from that need for daddy to recognize me, or daddy, you know what I mean? It's not true love. Sometimes your partner is tired, or they're busy with a project, or whatever. They can't have time to validate you, or whatever. They're gonna mess stuff up, So it's learning how to be selfless. And this relationship has a Mars in Cancer, Venus in Virgo. Those are both very feminine, female. Mars in Cancer says their sexual connection with one another too is directly tied to her, how she's feeling emotionally. This trines her moon in Scorpio, right? And for him, it also forms a trine to his Venus, and which is either, it's not an exact trine though. His Venus is either, well, I'll take that back. His Venus is at the end of Scorpio. But the point is, she has a lot of control in this relationship, and it feels karmic to me. It feels like he owes her something. Sun conjunct Uranus, also in the relationship chart, with Saturn forming an exact square to Uranus. I see that a lot in charts of people that have a karmic, it's a contract basically. You're here to be liberated from past incarnational material that had to do with either your culture you were in, or you get married to someone and you just have to stay married to him because that's what you do. Like conditioning that's tied to the human experience that changes and grows and evolves with time. So it's learning how to be broken free from those chains, and also to be broken free from fears. Saturn in Leo, am I good enough? Right? It's right next to her Mars. I'm angry right now. I feel like I have to do this to be loved. I have to be the best. I have to be the most beautiful. I have to be pretty. But I'm not always, And who will just love me when I'm just me? that kind of thing. But it's for him as well. It goes for both of them. More so for her, though. So he's supposed to, like, kind of be, in a sense, initially probably kind of the guardian to her, like, little inner child. He's supposed to be kind of creating a safe space for her to individuate. And what probably will happen is, he's got an inner child too that's going to feel squished and smushed and not being able to be creative and go and do his own, thing creatively and feeling frustrated. And that's when stuff gets a little messy. We start projecting our stuff onto our partner instead of owning it. Okay, so I think, long story short, I'm going to pause here, and then we're going to do, finally, both of their sort of perception of their wedding. We're going to get to the actual timing technique of their wedding day, what that personal day looked like for Beyonce, and what it looked like for Jay-Z, and we'll do that on the next video, part 3.